The Bright Star airport terminal buzzed under harsh fluorescent lights, its polished floors reflecting the weary shuffle of late-night travelers. The last flight from Tokyo had just landed and the customs line snaked through the Nevada hub, suitcases clattering on tiles. Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair cropped short, customs uniform crisp despite a long shift, stood alert, his slight limp barely noticeable. Beside him, Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat sleek, sniffed the air, amber eyes sharp. A star of the canine unit, Rex's instincts were unmatched, inspired by real tales of canine detection. Jack's voice was low, patting Rex. "Last one, boy." "Let's make it quick." Rex's nose twitched, his sturdy frame poised, scanning the crowd. The terminal hummed with exhaustion. Businessmen loosening ties, families dragging bags. A woman pushed a blue stroller, her movements jerky. Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair tucked under a long coat, gripped the handle, her face pale, sweat beading despite the air-conditioned chill. Her son, Ethan, 6 months, dark hair peeking from a blanket, stirred fitfully. Sarah's voice was a whisper to Ethan. "Shh, baby, we're almost there." Jack's voice was calm to a passenger. "Next, please." But Rex's ears flicked, his body tensing. His amber eyes locked on Sarah's stroller, a low growl rumbling. Jack's voice was sharp. "Rex, steady." Rex ignored him, a first in 3 years, bolting forward, leash taut. Sarah's voice was a gasp, stepping back. "What's he doing?" Rex's paws hit the stroller, knocking the blanket aside, revealing Ethan and a metallic glint. Jack's voice was a shout. "Weapon! Everyone down!" Panic erupted, screams echoing, phones clattering to the floor. Ethan wailed, Sarah's voice a sob. "No, please!" Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair, customs uniform stern, rushed over, voice booming. "Sullivan, what's happening?" Jack's voice was tense, drawing his sidearm. "Gun in the stroller, Chief." Rex's snarl was fierce, his black and tan coat bristling. Standing guard, a canine hero exposing danger, inspired by real tales of dogs unmasking threats. Sarah's voice was frantic, collapsing. "It's not what you think." Officers swarmed, travelers scattering. Dan's voice was sharp to Sarah. "Hands up, ma'am." Sarah's voice was trembling, clutching Ethan. "I'm protecting him." Jack's voice was steady, approaching. "Step away from the stroller." The gun, a Beretta 92, lay exposed, no serial number, taped to the frame. Jack's voice was low to Rex. "Good boy." Rex's amber eyes stayed on Sarah, his growl softening, sensing her fear, a canine guardian discerning truth beyond the weapon. Sarah's voice was a plea, tears streaming. "You don't understand." Dan's voice was cold, cuffing her. "Save it for questioning." Ethan's cries pierced the chaos, Jack's voice softening to an officer. "Get a medic for the kid." Clara Evans, 65, silver hair, sweater neat, a retired airport worker, pushed through, voice urgent. "Jack, she's no smuggler." Jack's voice was sharp to Clara. "You know her?" Clara's voice was firm. "Sarah Mitchell ran from trouble. That's all I'll say." The payback hit with a chuckle. Sarah's coat snagged on the stroller, ripping, her voice a curse. "Damn it!" Jack's voice was a mutter to Dan. "She's scared, not guilty." Dan's voice was grim to Jack. "We'll see." Rex's whine was low, his amber eyes locked on Ethan, nudging Jack, a canine hero hinting at a deeper truth, inspired by real tales of dogs sensing desperation. The twist hit like a spark. Jack's voice was a gasp, spotting a glint in the stroller's lining, a tiny USB drive taped beside the gun. His voice was stunned to Dan. "Chief, look." Rex's bark was bold, his black and tan frame steady, amber eyes blazing. a canine guardian revealing a secret inspired by real tales of hidden evidence. Emma's voice was resolute to Rex. You saw it all, didn't you? The terminal's lights flickered, Bright Star's secrets stirring, and Jack's bond with Rex was a spark that could unravel a mother's desperate act or ignite a dangerous pursuit. The Bright Star Airport's interrogation room buzzed under cold fluorescent lights, its gray walls closing in, the air thick with tension and stale coffee. Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair mussed, customs uniform slightly wrinkled, sat across from Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair loose, long coat draped over her chair. Her hands trembled, cuffed to the table, her face pale with exhaustion. Ethan, 6 months, dark hair soft, slept in a crib nearby, his small chest rising unevenly. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat, sleek, lay at Jack's feet, amber eyes locked on Sarah, a canine sentinel sensing her fear, inspired by real tales of canine intuition. Jack's voice was low, studying her. Start talking, Sarah. Why the gun? Sarah's voice was a whisper, eyes on Ethan. I was protecting him. The terminal chaos, Rex's lunge, the Beretta 92, the USB drive, had turned a routine shift into a nightmare. Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair neat, customs uniform stiff, leaned against the wall, voice gruff. A loaded gun under your kid? That's not protection. Sarah's voice was choked, tears welling. You don't know him. Jack's voice was steady, holding the USB. Your husband, Mark Reynolds? What's on this? Rex's whine was soft, his sturdy frame tense, amber eyes flicking to Ethan, a canine hero guarding the innocent, inspired by real tales of dogs sensing truth. Sarah's voice was faint, head shaking. Everything. Proof he'll kill us. The door creaked. Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, entered, voice urgent. Jack, she's no criminal. Jack's voice was sharp, standing. Clara, you can't be here. Clara's voice was firm, to Dan. Sarah worked baggage claim years ago, ran from Mark, bad news. Dan's voice was skeptical, to Clara. You vouching for her? Clara's voice was steady, nodding. I saw her bruises. She's running for her life. Sarah's voice was a sob to Clara. You remember? Jack's voice was tense to Sarah. Mark's a smuggler. Sarah's voice was trembling, clutching the table. Worse. He owns North Shield, guns, drugs, cops in his pocket. Rex's growl was low, his black and tan coat bristling, amber eyes locked on the USB, a K9 protector urging action, inspired by real tales of dogs unmasking danger. Jack's voice was urgent, plugging the USB into a laptop. Let's see. Files loaded, videos of Mark's abuse, bank records, emails to dirty cops. Sarah's voice was broken, tears falling. He'll take Ethan if you send me back. Dan's voice was grim, to Jack. This is big. Feds need to see it. The tension spiked, a knock jolting them. Agent Emily Harper, 40, blonde hair tied back, vest sharp, stepped in, voice crisp. I'm FBI. That drives mine now. Jack's voice was wary to Emily. You know about North Shield? Emily's voice was steady, taking the drive. Mark's on our radar, slippery bastard. Sarah's voice was a gasp to Emily. He'll find us. Emily's voice was calm to Sarah. We'll protect you, but you need to talk. Rex's whine was deep, his amber eyes locked on Sarah, nudging Jack's leg, a K9 hero sensing her desperation, inspired by real tales of dogs reading fear. Jack's voice was soft to Rex. You saw it first, didn't you? Sarah's voice was frantic to Jack. Mark tracks everything, my phone, my cards. Dan's voice was sharp to Emily. She's a flight risk. Emily's voice was firm to Dan. She's a victim. We need her alive. Clara's voice was urgent to Sarah. Tell them about the necklace. Sarah's voice was a gasp, touching her star-shaped pendant. It's his. He gave it to me. It's bugged. Jack's voice was stunned to Emily. A tracker? The payback hit with a chuckle. Sarah's pendant slipped, clattering to the floor, her voice a curse. Damn it! Jack's voice was a chuckle to Dan. She's rattled. Dan's voice was tense to Emily. Check it. Emily's voice was sharp, prying it open. Microchip. Active. Sarah's voice was sobbing. To Ethan. I'm so sorry, baby. Rex's snarl was low, his amber eyes blazing, standing guard, a canine protector ready to defend, inspired by real tales of dogs thwarting threats. The twist hit like a thunderclap. Rex's nose nudged the stroller, left in the corner, revealing a hidden pocket. Jack's voice was a shout, pulling out a folded note. Look at this. The note read, Mark's men at Bright Star. Get out now. Sarah's voice was stunned to Jack. I didn't write that. Rex's bark was bold, his black and tan frame steady, amber eyes locked on the note, a canine hero exposing a trap, inspired by real tales of hidden warnings. Jack's voice was resolute to Emily. We're on borrowed time. The lights flickered, Bright Star's shadows deepening, and Jack's bond with Rex and Sarah was a spark that could unravel a deadly plot or ignite a desperate chase. The Bright Star Airport's security wing hummed under sterile lights, its concrete halls echoing with the distant clatter of luggage carts. The Nevada dawn crept through narrow windows, casting a pale glow over the customs office. Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair mussed, customs uniform slightly creased, leaned against a desk, his slight limp evident after a long shift. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat glossy, sat alert, amber eyes scanning the room, a canine sentinel radiating focus, inspired by real tales of canine vigilance. Jack's voice was low, patting Rex. You stirred up a storm, boy. Across the room, Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair loose, long coat folded nearby, sat with Ethan, 6 months, dark hair soft, cradled in her arms. Her face was gaunt, eyes red from crying, but her grip on Ethan was fierce. The stroller incident, Rex's lunge, the Beretta 92, the USB drive, the tracker necklace, had flipped Jack's world. Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair neat, customs uniform crisp, reviewed the USB files, voice gruff. This is dynamite, Sullivan. Mark Reynolds is dirty. Jack's voice was tense to Dan. Sarah's telling the truth? Sarah's voice was faint, rocking Ethan. He'll kill us if he finds us. Rex's whine was soft, his sturdy frame shifting, amber eyes locked on Sarah, a canine hero sensing her terror, inspired by real tales of dogs reading fear. Agent Emily Harper, 40, blonde hair tied back, vest sharp, paced with a laptop, voice crisp. North Shields a front, guns, drugs, crooked cops, Mark's untouchable. Jack's voice was sharp to Emily. Not anymore. That drive's got proof. The office buzzed, monitors flickering with Mark's emails and bank records. Sarah's voice was choked to Emily. He beat me, controlled everything. Dan's voice was skeptical to Sarah. Why not go to the cops? Sarah's voice was bitter, tears falling. His buddies were cops. They laughed. Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, lingered nearby, voice soft. I saw her scars, Jack. She's no liar. Jack's voice was steady to Clara. You knew her well. Clara's voice was firm, nodding. Sarah worked here. Baggage claim. Quiet, kind. Mark showed up, charming at first. Then she stopped smiling. Rex's growl was low, his black and tan coat bristling, amber eyes flicking to the door, a canine protector sensing unease, inspired by real tales of dogs guarding truth. Jack's voice was urgent to Dan. "Mark's men are close. Her note said so." Emily's voice was grim to Jack. "Feds are tracking his network. We need Sarah safe." Sarah's voice was a sob, clutching Ethan. "He'll take him!" Emily's voice was calm to Sarah. "We'll get you out. New identities." The tension spiked, a radio crackling. Dan's voice was sharp, answering. "Brooks here." A voice hissed. "Suspicious van outside, unmarked." Jack's voice was a gasp, grabbing his gear. "Mark's guys?" Rex's snarl was fierce, his amber eyes blazing, standing ready, a canine hero poised for action. Jack's voice was urgent to Emily. "Get Sarah and Ethan to the safe room." Emily's voice was steady, guiding Sarah. "Come with me." Sarah's voice was trembling to Jack. "Don't let him find us." Rex's whine was deep, nudging Jack, amber eyes locked on the door, a canine guide sensing danger, inspired by real tales of dogs thwarting threats. Dan's voice was tense to Jack. "Check the perimeter. Rex with you." The hallway darkened, lights flickering, the airport's pulse quickening. Jack's voice was low to Rex. "Find 'em, boy." Rex's nose worked, leading through service corridors, his black and tan frame a shadow in the gloom. A clatter echoed, Jack's voice a whisper. "What's that?" Rex's growl was sudden, his amber eyes blazing, bolting toward a storage room. Jack's voice was a shout, drawing his sidearm. "Freeze!" A thug in a dark cap spun, voice snarling, "Back off!" Rex's snarl was ferocious, lunging, teeth grazing the thug's arm, pinning him, a canine hero defying a predator inspired by real tales of guard dogs in action. Jack's voice was sharp, cuffing him. "Who sent you?" The thug's voice was a grunt. "Reynolds, you're dead." The payback hit with a chuckle. His cap fell, revealing a scar, his voice a curse. "Damn it!" Jack's voice was a chuckle to Rex. "Nice catch, boy." Dan's voice crackled over the radio. "Sullivan, report!" Jack's voice was tense, dragging the thug. "Got one! Mark's man!" Rex's bark was bold, his amber eyes locked on a crate, nudging it, a canine hero signaling more, inspired by real tales of hidden evidence. Jack's voice was urgent, prying it open. "What's this?" Inside, a burner phone blinked, a text glowing. "Take the kid, torch the drive." Jack's voice was stunned. To Dan, "They're after Ethan." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Rex's nose dug deeper, unearthing a photo taped to the crate. Sarah, battered, with Mark looming. Jack's voice was a gasp to Rex. "Her mom's proof?" Rex's whine was deep, his black and tan frame pressing against Jack, amber eyes blazing, a canine hero tied to a mother's fight, inspired by real tales of silent cries. Jack's voice was resolute to Dan. "We're not letting Mark win." The corridors loomed, bright stars, shadows deepening, and Jack's bond with Rex and Sarah was a spark that could expose a monster or ignite a deadly trap. The Bright Star Airport's cargo warehouse loomed under flickering sodium lights, its cavernous halls stacked with crates and shadows, the air thick with the tang of jet fuel and dust. The Nevada dusk pressed against the high windows, casting jagged patterns across the concrete floor. Jack Sullivan, 28, brown hair mussed, customs uniform slightly creased, moved cautiously through the aisles, his slight limp barely slowing him. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat, sleek, padded ahead, amber eyes piercing the gloom, a canine sentinel sniffing for danger, inspired by real tales of canine detection. Jack's voice was a whisper, gripping a flashlight. Stay sharp, Rex. Sarah Mitchell, 30. Black hair tied back, long coat swapped for a borrowed hoodie, waited in the airport safe room with Ethan. 6 months, dark hair soft, under Agent Emily Harper's guard. The stroller bust, Rex's lunge, the Beretta 92, the USB drive, the tracker necklace, the burner phone, had Jack's pulse racing. Mark Reynolds, Sarah's husband, was a monster, his North Shield empire hiding guns and blood. Jack's voice was tense, clutching the photo of Sarah's bruises. Mark's men are here, boy. Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair neat, customs uniform stiff, followed close, voice gruff. Keep it tight, Sullivan. Feds are circling. Rex's whine was soft, his sturdy frame tense, amber eyes locked on a stack of crates, a canine protector sensing a secret, inspired by real tales of dogs unmasking threats. Jack's voice was urgent, to Dan. Rex smells something. Dan's voice was sharp, scanning. Reynolds' crew could have stashed gear here. The warehouse creaked, forklifts silent in the off hours. Jack's voice was a gasp, spotting a crate marked North Shield. That's his. Rex's growl was low, his black and tan coat bristling, nudging the crate, amber eyes blazing, a canine hero signaling a find, inspired by real tales of uncovered evidence. Jack's voice was sharp, prying it open. What's this? Inside, a locked tin, etched with SM, Sarah Mitchell. Dan's voice was stunned to Jack. Her stash? Jack's voice was trembling, opening it, finding a journal and a flash drive. The journal's pages spilled Sarah's pain. Mark's smuggling guns, bribing cops. He'll kill Ethan if I run. Jack's voice was choked to Dan. She planned to expose him. Rex's bark was soft, his amber eyes locked on the flash drive, a canine hero tied to a mother's fight, inspired by real tales of hidden truths. Dan's voice was tense, pocketing it. This could bury Reynolds. The tension spiked, a clatter echoing. Jack's voice was a whisper, shoving the tin in his bag. Someone's here. Dan's voice was a growl, drawing his sidearm. Stay back. Rex's snarl was fierce, his white frame poised, amber eyes fixed on the aisle, a canine protector ready to strike. Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, emerged, voice urgent. Jack, it's me. The retired airport worker clutched a faded logbook, voice sharp. Found this. Mark's shipments, coded. Jack's voice was tight, lowering his flashlight. Clara, you're gonna get shot. Clara's voice was grim, handing it over. He moved guns through here. Sarah knew. Jack's voice was stunned, flipping pages. She was tracking him? Rex's growl was sudden, his amber eyes blazing, nudging a nearby pallet, a canine guide sensing more, inspired by real tales of dogs exposing lies. Jack's voice was urgent, checking it, finding a hidden panel, burner phones, IDs, a list of Mark's dirty cops. Dan's voice was tense. To Clara, this is gold. Jack's voice was trembling to Rex. You knew, boy. Footsteps echoed, a sleek figure approaching. Mark Reynolds, 45, brown hair, slick, vest sharp, stepped into the light, voice cold. Sullivan, you're meddling. Jack's voice was fierce, standing. You're done, Reynolds. Mark's voice was smooth, eyeing Rex. That mutt's a nuisance. Hand over the journal. Dan's voice was a growl, gripping his gun. Back off, Reynolds. Rex's snarl was ferocious, his black and tan frame lunging, teeth grazing Mark's sleeve, amber eyes blazing, forcing him back. A canine protector defying a predator inspired by real tales of dogs facing threats. Mark's voice was a snarl, drawing a knife. You're dead. The payback hit with a chuckle. His knife slipped, clattering, his voice a curse. Damn it! Jack's voice was a chuckle to Dan. He's sloppy. Clara's voice was sharp, dialing. "Emily's coming." Jack's voice was urgent to Rex. "Hold him." But a thug's shadow loomed, voice growling. "Drop it." Rex's snarl erupted, his sturdy legs a blur, tackling the thug, pinning him, amber eyes fierce, a canine hero holding the line, inspired by real tales of guard dogs in action. Jack's voice was a shout. "Rex, good boy!" Dan's voice was fierce, cuffing the thug. "Stay down!" Emily Harper's voice crackled over the radio. "Sullivan, I'm here!" Her vest gleamed as she rushed in, voice sharp. "Got the list?" Jack's voice was tense, handing it over. "Mark's cops. Names. Dates." Emily's voice was grim to Mark. "You're finished." Mark's voice was venomous to Emily. "You'll pay, Harper." Rex's snarl was fierce, his amber eyes locked on Mark, a canine protector unwavering, inspired by real tales of dogs standing firm. The twist hit like a thunderclap. Rex's nose dug into the pallet, unearthing a hidden recorder. Jack's voice was a shout, playing it. "Mark's voice, ordering Sarah's hit!" Mark's face paled, his voice a stammer. "That's not—" Emily's voice was sharp, cuffing him. "Save it for court!" Jack's voice was stunned to Rex. "You found it all, boy." Rex's whine was gentle, his black and tan frame pressing against Jack, amber eyes blazing. A canine hero tied to justice, inspired by real tales of recorded evidence. The warehouse lights buzzed, Bright Star's secrets unraveling, and Jack's bond with Rex and Sarah was a spark that could topple a kingpin or ignite a deadly revenge. The Bright Star Airport service tunnels pulsed with a low hum, their dim corridors lit by flickering emergency lights, the air thick with the tang of oil and stale dust. The Nevada night pressed heavy outside, a storm brewing in the desert sky. Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair slick with sweat, customs uniform torn at the sleeve, sprinted through the maze, his limp slowing him. Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair loose under a borrowed hoodie, clutched Ethan, 6 months, dark hair soft, his whimpers echoing. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat bristling, led the way, amber eyes blazing, a canine sentinel dodging pipes, inspired by real tales of canine heroism. Jack's voice was a gasp to Sarah. "Keep moving!" Sarah's voice was a sob, gripping Ethan. "They're coming!" The warehouse bust, Rex's lunge, the Beretta, the USB drive, Sarah's journal, Mark Reynolds' recorder, had unleashed chaos. Mark's men, hunting Sarah and Ethan, had breached the airport. Jack's voice was tense to Rex. "Find the exit, boy." Rex's growl was low, his sturdy frame weaving through the tunnels, a canine protector sensing danger, inspired by real tales of dogs leading escapes. Footsteps pounded behind, shadows flickering. Sarah's voice was frantic to Jack. "Mark won't stop." Jack's voice was sharp, checking his sidearm. "He's not getting Ethan." A crash echoed, a steel door buckling. A thug's voice snarled, "They're here!" Rex's snarl was ferocious, spinning, teeth bared, amber eyes locked on the thug, a canine hero ready to strike, inspired by real tales of guard dogs in action. Jack's voice was a shout, shoving Sarah. "Go!" Sarah's voice was a scream, stumbling forward. "Jack!" Rex lunged, his black and tan frame a blur, tackling the thug, pinning him to the concrete, a canine protector defying a predator. Jack's voice was urgent, firing a warning shot. "Stay down!" The thug's voice was a yelp. "Get this mutt off!" Another thug rounded the corner, voice growling. "Kill him!" Rex's bark roared, his amber eyes blazing, darting to block the second thug, a canine hero holding the line, inspired by real tales of dogs facing multiple threats. Jack's voice was tense to Sarah. "Run to the hangar!" Sarah's voice was choked, clutching Ethan. "Don't die!" The tunnel shook, a distant alarm blaring. Chief Dan Brooks' voice crackled over Jack's radio. "Sullivan, where are you?" Jack's voice was strained, dragging the thug. "Tunnels! Reynolds' men!" Dan's voice was grim. "Feds are pinned. Get to the safe house." Rex's whine was sharp, his amber eyes flicking to a side passage, nudging Jack, a canine guide sensing a path inspired by real tales of instinct-driven rescues. The passage narrowed, pipes hissing steam. Sarah's voice was a gasp, tripping. "I can't keep up." Jack's voice was fierce, lifting her. "You will." Rex's growl was sudden, his black and tan coat bristling, halting at a grate. Jack's voice was urgent, kicking it open. "Through here." They crawled into a maintenance bay, the hangar's vast expanse looming beyond. Sarah's voice was trembling to Ethan. "We're okay, baby." A spotlight flared. Mark Reynolds, 45, brown hair slick, vest pristine, stood with two thugs, voice cold. "End of the line, Sarah." Sarah's voice was a scream. "Mark, no!" Jack's voice was sharp, shielding her. "Let them go, Reynolds." Mark's voice was a sneer, eyeing Rex. "That dog's a problem." Rex's snarl was thunderous, his amber eyes blazing, poised to strike. A canine hero defying a kingpin, inspired by real tales of dogs facing armed foes. Jack's voice was steady to Mark. "You're surrounded. Feds are closing in." Mark's voice was a chuckle, raising a gun. "Not yet." The payback hit with a chuckle. His gun jammed, his voice a curse. "Damn it!" Jack's voice was a shout, tackling him. "Now, Rex!" Rex's snarl erupted, his sturdy frame lunging, pinning a thug, amber eyes fierce, a canine hero turning the tide, inspired by real tales of dogs thwarting attacks. Sarah's voice was sobbing to Ethan. "We're safe." Agent Emily Harper's SUV screeched into the hangar. Emily, 40, blonde hair tied back, vest sharp, leaping out, voice booming. "Drop your weapons." Mark's voice was a roar, struggling. "You'll pay." Emily's voice was cold, cuffing him. "Save it." Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, rushed in, voice urgent. "Sarah, you okay?" Sarah's voice was choked, hugging Clara. "He found us." Dan's voice echoed, leading backup. "Secure the area." Jack's voice was tense to Rex. "Good boy." Rex's whine was gentle, his black and tan frame pressing against Jack, amber eyes locked on Ethan, a canine hero unbroken by the chaos, inspired by real tales of steadfast guardians. Sarah's voice was faint to Jack. "You saved us." Jack's voice was soft to Sarah. "Rex did." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Rex's nose nudged Jack's bag, where Sarah's journal lay, a hidden page slipping out. Jack's voice was a gasp, reading, "Mark's safe house coordinates." Sarah's voice was stunned to Jack. "I didn't write that." Rex's bark was bold, his amber eyes gleaming, nudging the page. A canine hero revealing a final clue inspired by real tales of hidden messages. Emily's voice was sharp to Jack. "We've got him now." The hangar's lights blazed, bright stars' secrets unraveling, and Jack's bond with Rex and Sarah was a spark that could end a reign of terror or ignite Mark's deadly revenge. The Bright Star Airport's secure briefing room buzzed under harsh fluorescent lights, its walls lined with monitors flashing grainy security feeds, the air thick with tension and burnt coffee. The Nevada dawn broke outside, a faint glow seeping through reinforced windows. Jack Sullivan, 35, brown-haired, disheveled, customs uniform torn, sat at a steel table, his limp evident after the hangar ambush. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat sleek, lay at his feet, amber eyes vigilant, a canine sentinel anchoring the chaos, inspired by real tales of canine loyalty. Jack's voice was low, stroking Rex. "You saved us, boy." Across the table, Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair loose under a borrowed hoodie, cradled Ethan, 6 months, dark hair soft, his breathing steady but weak. Her face was pale, eyes hollow from fear. The stroller bust, USB drive, Sarah's journal, Mark Reynolds' recorder, and the safe house coordinates had exposed Mark's North Shield empire. Guns, drugs, dirty cops. Jack's voice was tense. To Sarah, "Mark's in custody. You're safe for now." Sarah's voice was a whisper, clutching Ethan. "He'll get out." Rex's whine was soft, his sturdy frame shifting. Amber eyes locked on Sarah, a canine hero sensing her dread, inspired by real tales of dogs reading fear. Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair neat, customs uniform crisp, stood by a monitor, voice gruff. "Feds are tearing through his network." Agent Emily Harper, 40, blonde hair tied back, vest sharp, reviewed the journal, voice crisp. "This ties Mark to 3 states, smuggling, bribery." Jack's voice was sharp to Emily. "What's on Rex's chip?" The microchip found in Rex's collar post ambush held audio, Mark's orders. Emily's voice was grim, plugging it in. "Let's hear." Mark's voice crackled. "Kill Sarah, take the kid." Sarah's voice was a sob, tears falling. "He planned it all." Rex's growl was low, his black and tan coat bristling, amber eyes blazing, a canine protector tied to justice, inspired by real tales of recorded evidence. Dan's voice was tense to Jack. "This nails him, but his men are still out there." Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, entered, voice urgent. "I found this. Old security tape." She held a USB, voice sharp. "Mark threatened Sarah here, years ago." Jack's voice was stunned to Clara. "At the airport?" Clara's voice was firm, nodding. "She worked baggage claim. He cornered her. Cameras caught it." The tension spiked, Emily playing the tape. Grainy footage showed Mark, younger, gripping Sarah's arm, his voice a snarl. "You leave, you're dead." Sarah's voice was choked, watching. "I was pregnant." Rex's whine was deep, his amber eyes locked on the screen, nudging Jack, a canine guide sensing pain, inspired by real tales of dogs uncovering truth. Jack's voice was soft to Sarah. "You're stronger than him." Sarah's voice was faint to Emily. "He'll bribe his way out." Emily's voice was steady to Sarah. "Not with this evidence." A knock jolted them, an officer's voice urgent. "Chief, we've got a problem. Mark's lawyer's here." Dan's voice was a growl to Jack. "Stay put." Jack's voice was tense to Rex. "Something's off, boy." Rex's growl was sudden, his amber eyes blazing, standing, a canine protector, sensing a shift, inspired by real tales of canine instinct. The door opened. Mark Reynolds, 45, brown hair slick, vest pristine despite cuffs, stepped in, voice smooth. "Sarah, you've caused trouble." Sarah's voice was a scream, clutching Ethan. "Stay away!" Jack's voice was fierce, standing. "Back off, Reynolds." Mark's voice was cold, eyeing Rex. "That dog's a liability." Rex's snarl was ferocious, his black and tan frame poised, amber eyes locked on Mark, a canine hero defying a threat, inspired by real tales of dogs facing predators. Emily's voice was sharp to Mark. "You're done. Your tape's with the feds." Mark's voice was a chuckle to Emily. "You think I'm alone?" The payback hit with a chuckle. His cufflink fell clattering, his voice a curse. "Damn it!" Jack's voice was a chuckle to Dan. "He's nervous." Dan's voice was tense to Emily. "Get him out." But Rex's bark erupted, his amber eyes blazing, lunging at Mark's briefcase, a canine hero, signaling danger. Jack's voice was urgent, tackling the case. "What's this?" Inside, a hidden compartment held a burner phone, a text glowing. "Hit the safe room, now." Sarah's voice was a gasp to Jack. "His men!" Emily's voice was a shout, drawing her gun. "Lock it down!" Dan's voice was tense, radioing. "Breach at the safe room." Rex's snarl was fierce, his black and tan frame bolting to the door, a canine protector ready to strike, inspired by real tales of dogs thwarting ambushes. The twist hit like a thunderclap. Mark's voice wavered, his face crumpling. "I didn't want this." His eyes flicked to Ethan, voice choked. "I loved her once. I lost control." Sarah's voice was stunned. To Mark, "You're sorry?" Jack's voice was sharp. To Mark, "Prove it. Call off your men." Mark's voice was raw, grabbing the burner. "Stand down. It's over." Emily's voice was tense. To Dan, "He's turning?" A thug's voice crackled over the radio. "No deal, boss." Rex's snarl erupted, his amber eyes blazing, leading Jack to the safe room, a canine hero defying a betrayal, inspired by real tales of dogs turning tides. Jack's voice was a shout to Emily. "They're inside!" Emily's voice was fierce, sprinting. "Move!" Sarah's voice was sobbing to Ethan. "Hold on, baby." Clara's voice was urgent to Dan. "Protect them." Dan's voice was grim to Jack. "Go, Rex leads." Rex's bark was bold, his black and tan frame charging through the halls, amber eyes locked on the safe room, a canine hero forging a path, inspired by real tales of relentless guardians. Jack's voice was resolute to Rex. "Find 'em, boy." The lights flickered, Bright Star's secrets unraveling, and Jack's bond with Rex and Sarah was a spark that could end a nightmare or ignite Mark's final trap. The Bright Star Airport's cargo hangar loomed under flickering halogens, its vast expanse cluttered with crates and shadows, the air thick with jet fuel and the sharp tang of desert dust. The Nevada night roared outside, a storm lashing the tarmac. Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair slick with sweat, customs uniform torn, crouched behind a pallet, his limp throbbing. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat bristling, stood alert, amber eyes piercing the gloom, a canine sentinel sniffing for danger, inspired by real tales of canine instinct. Jack's voice was a whisper, gripping his sidearm. "Find it, Rex." Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair loose under a hoodie, and Ethan, 6 months, dark hair soft, were hidden in the airport's safe room, guarded by Agent Emily Harper. The Stroller bust, USB drive, Sarah's journal, Mark Reynolds' recorder, and the safe house coordinates had exposed Mark's North Shield empire. Guns, drugs, corrupt cops. Mark's men, defying his orders to stand down, hunted Sarah and Ethan. Jack's voice was tense, clutching the journal's coordinates. "Mark's safe house, here." Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair matted, customs uniform stained, scanned the hangar, voice gruff. "Keep tight, Sullivan. Feds are minutes out." Rex's whine was soft, his sturdy frame tense. Amber eyes locked on a locked crate marked North Shield, a canine protector sensing a secret, inspired by real tales of dogs unmasking threats. Jack's voice was urgent to Dan. "Rex smells it." Dan's voice was sharp, covering. "Crack it open." The hangar creaked, wind rattling the walls. Jack's voice was a gasp, prying the crate. "Got something." Inside a hard drive labeled Reynolds, Clients. Rex's growl was low, his black and tan coat bristling, nudging the crate, amber eyes blazing, a canine hero signaling a find, inspired by real tales of uncovered evidence. Jack's voice was choked to Dan. This lists his buyers, cops, cartels. Dan's voice was stunned, pocketing it. This ends him. The tension spiked, a clatter echoing. Jack's voice was a whisper, shoving the drive in his bag. They're here. Dan's voice was a growl, raising his gun. Stay low. Rex's snarl was fierce, his frame poised, amber eyes fixed on the shadows, a canine protector ready to strike. Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, emerged, voice urgent. Jack, it's me. The retired airport worker held a faded manifest, voice sharp. Mark's shipments, guns through here. Jack's voice was tight, lowering his flashlight. Clara, you're in danger. Clara's voice was grim, handing it over. Sarah tracked his roots. Jack's voice was stunned, scanning it. She was hunting him? Rex's growl was sudden, his amber eyes blazing, nudging a nearby crate, a canine guide sensing more, inspired by real tales of dogs exposing lies. Jack's voice was urgent, opening it, finding a hidden laptop, password protected with North Shield engraved. Dan's voice was tense to Clara. This is big. Jack's voice was trembling to Rex. You knew, boy. Footsteps thundered, a thug in a dark jacket charging, voice snarling. Drop it! Rex's snarl erupted, his black and tan frame lunging, teeth sinking into the thug's arm, pinning him, a canine hero defying a predator inspired by real tales of guard dogs in action. Jack's voice was sharp, cuffing him. Who's with you? The thug's voice was a grunt. You're dead, Sullivan! Another thug's voice shouted, Torch the crates! Jack's voice was a shout, firing a warning shot. Back off! Rex's bark roared, his amber eyes blazing, darting to block the second thug, a canine hero holding the line, inspired by real tales of dogs facing multiple foes. The payback hit with a chuckle. The thug's lighter fell, sparking uselessly, his voice a curse. Damn it! Jack's voice was a chuckle to Dan. Sloppy work. Clara's voice was sharp, dialing. Emily, now! Dan's voice was urgent to Jack. Secure the laptop. Headlights flared, an unmarked van crashing through the hangar door. Mark Reynolds, 45, brown hair slick, vest torn, stepped out, voice cold. Sullivan, you're out of moves. Jack's voice was fierce, shielding the crate. It's over, Reynolds. Mark's voice was a sneer, eyeing Rex. That dog's done. Rex's snarl was thunderous, his amber eyes blazing, poised to strike. A canine hero defying a kingpin, inspired by real tales of dogs facing armed threats. Sarah's voice crackled over Jack's radio. Jack, they're in the safe room. Jack's voice was a gasp to Mark. Call them off. Mark's voice wavered, his face softening. I didn't order this. His voice was choked to Jack. I lost Ethan. I can't lose her. Jack's voice was stunned to Mark. You're turning? Mark's voice was raw, grabbing a burner. Stand down, now! A thug's voice roared. No way, boss! Rex's snarl erupted, his black and tan frame lunging, pinning another thug, a canine hero thwarting betrayal, inspired by real tales of dogs turning battles. Jack's voice was a shout to Dan. He's helping! Dan's voice was tense, cuffing Mark. Prove it, Reynolds! Emily Harper's voice boomed, her SUV screeching in. Feds are here! Emily, 40, blonde hair tied back, vest sharp, leaped out, voice sharp. Got the drive. Jack's voice was urgent, handing it over. His buyers, full list. Emily's voice was grim to Mark. You're done. Sarah's voice crackled again. They're breaking in. Jack's voice was resolute. To Rex, "Lead us, boy." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Rex's nose dug into the crate, unearthing a hidden SD card. Jack's voice was a gasp, playing it. A video of Mark's top buyer, a cartel boss, ordering Sarah's hit. Emily's voice was stunned. To Jack, "This buries them all." Rex's bark was bold, his amber eyes gleaming, nudging Jack, a canine hero, revealing a final clue, inspired by real tales of digital evidence. Jack's voice was fierce to Emily. "Save Sarah, now." The hangar's lights blazed, bright stars, secrets unraveling, and Jack's bond with Rex and Sarah was a spark that could topple an empire or ignite a final, deadly strike. The Bright Star Airport's federal courtroom buzzed under stark fluorescent lights, its polished wooden benches packed with reporters and agents, the air thick with anticipation and the faint hum of air conditioning. The Nevada morning blazed outside, sunlight streaming through tall windows. Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair neatly combed, customs uniform crisp despite his limp, stood by the witness stand, his eyes steady. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat gleaming, sat beside him, amber eyes calm, a canine sentinel radiating quiet strength, inspired by real tales of canine heroism. Jack's voice was soft, patting Rex. "We're finishing this, boy." Across the room, Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair tied back, simple blouse, neat, cradled Ethan, 6 months, dark hair soft in her lap, her face pale but resolute. The stroller bust, USB drive, Sarah's journal, Mark Reynolds's recorder, safe house coordinates, and the SD card had dismantled Mark's North Shield empire. Guns, drugs, corrupt cops. Mark's guilty plea loomed, but his cartel allies hunted Sarah. Jack's voice was low to Sarah. "You're safe now." Sarah's voice was faint, clutching Ethan. "He'll never stop." Rex's whine was gentle, his sturdy frame pressed against Jack, amber eyes locked on Sarah, a canine hero sensing her fear, inspired by real tales of dogs reading truth. Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair neat, customs uniform sharp, sat in the front row, voice gruff. "You did good, Sullivan." Agent Emily Harper, 40, blonde hair tied back, vest traded for a blazer, stood by the prosecutor, voice crisp. "Mark's deal holds. He's naming names." Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater crisp, whispered to Dan, voice warm. "Rex saved them." The retired airport worker's eyes flicked to Rex, voice soft. "Sarah's free because of him." Jack's voice was tense. To Emily, "His men are still out there?" Emily's voice was steady, nodding. "Feds are closing in. Cartels crumbling." Rex's growl was soft, his black and tan coat brushing Jack, amber eyes scanning the room, a canine protector sensing unease, inspired by real tales of guard dogs on alert. The courtroom hushed, the judge's gavel poised. Mark Reynolds, 45, brown hair disheveled, vest replaced by a jumpsuit, sat at the defense table, his face gaunt. The judge's voice boomed. "Mr. Reynolds, on charges of smuggling, conspiracy, and domestic abuse, how do you plead?" Mark's voice was low, standing. "Guilty, Your Honor." Gasps rippled, Sarah's voice a sob. To Ethan, "It's over, baby." Jack's voice was stunned. To Dan, "He's done?" Mark's voice was choked, meeting Sarah's gaze. "I'm sorry. I broke us." Sarah's voice was trembling. To Mark, "You hurt Ethan too." Rex's bark was gentle, his amber eyes locked on Mark, a canine hero sensing remorse, his role in unmasking the truth, stroller gun, hidden drives, recorded hits, undeniable. The judge's voice was firm. Sentencing, 15 years, restitution to Ms. Mitchell. Jack's voice was a whisper to Rex. "We got him." The courtroom doors burst open, a thug in a dark jacket charging, voice snarling, "You're not walking, Mitchell!" Sarah's voice was a scream. "No!" Rex's snarl was ferocious, his black and tan frame a blur, lunging with startling speed, teeth sinking into the thug's arm, pinning him, amber eyes blazing, a canine protector defying a final threat, inspired by real tales of dogs thwarting attacks. Jack's voice was sharp, tackling the thug. "Stay down!" Dan's voice was fierce, drawing his gun. "Secure the room!" Emily's voice was urgent, shielding Sarah. "Get her out!" Clara's voice was tense, to Dan. "Cartel's last stand." Dan's voice was grim, cuffing the thug. "They're done. Feds are sweeping." The payback hit with a chuckle. The thug's knife fell, skittering, his voice a curse. "Damn it!" Jack's voice was a chuckle to Rex. "Nice catch, boy." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Emily's voice was stunned, pulling Jack aside, holding a vet report. Rex's chip. It's from Sarah's mom's guard program. Jack's voice was a gasp, reading. She trained him. Emily's voice was soft, nodding. Elite K9, bred to protect Sarah and Ethan. Her mom chose him. Sarah's voice was choked, tears falling. Mom knew. Rex's whine was deep, his black and tan frame pressing against Sarah, amber eyes locked, a K9 hero fulfilling a legacy, inspired by real tales of purpose-bred guardians. Jack's voice was resolute to Sarah. Your mom saved you through Rex. Sarah's voice was sobbing to Ethan. She's with us, baby. Clara's voice was warm to Jack. You're their shield. The courtroom cleared. Mark's head bowed, his voice faint to Sarah. I'll fund Ethan's future, whatever it takes. Sarah's voice was steady to Mark. Help others like me. Start there. Mark's voice was resolute, nodding. I will. Dan's voice was gruff to Emily. Feds seized North Shield. Sarah's set. Jack's voice was bright to Rex. They're free, boy. Emily's voice was soft to Sarah. What's next? Sarah's voice was resolute to Emily. A haven for moms like me, dogs like Rex. Rex's bark was bold, his amber eyes gleaming, his sturdy frame standing tall, a K9 hero forging a new path inspired by real tales of second chances. The courthouse steps erupted in cheers, reporters chanting Sarah's name, her voice soft to Rex. You're my hero. Clara's voice was choked to Dan. She's unstoppable. Dan's voice was proud to Clara. Like her mom. The desert sun burned, bright stars, shadows fading, the promise of a haven, now a beacon of hope. Jack's voice was trembling to Sarah. You'll make it right. The payback hit with a chuckle. A reporter's mic fell, his voice a curse. Dang it. Dan's laugh was warm. Watch it. Jack's voice was resolute to Rex. We're just starting, boy. The horizon glowed. Bright stars, secrets transformed, and Jack's bond with Rex and Sarah was a spark that could rebuild lives or face the cartel's lingering wrath. The Nevada desert bloomed under a fierce morning sun, its golden rays igniting the sprawling fields of Hope's Haven, a sanctuary carved from the ashes of Bright Star Airport's chaos. The air hummed with life, sweet with sagebrush and the joyful barks of rescue dogs weaving through vibrant pastures. Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair loose under a sun hat, stood in a training yard, her voice gentle, guiding a shy pup. You're safe here, little one. Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan, coat glossy, padded beside her, amber eyes soft. A canine mentor calming the pup, inspired by real tales of canine compassion. Sarah's voice was warm to Rex. You're showing them how, boy. Rex's bark was soft, his sturdy frame steady, amber eyes locked on the pup. A hero whose instincts had saved Sarah and Ethan, dismantling Mark Reynolds' North Shield empire. Guns, drugs, corrupt cops. Ethan, now 7 months, dark hair curling, giggled nearby, signing clumsily to a volunteer, his world bright despite early terrors. Sarah's voice was bright to Ethan. "Look at you, buddy, shining." Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair tousled, customs uniform swapped for a flannel shirt, hauled crates, voice proud. "He's a star, Sarah." Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, leaned on a fence, voice warm. "This place is a miracle." The retired airport worker's eyes flicked to Rex, voice soft. "You built hope from pain." Agent Emily Harper, 40, blonde hair loose, blazer crisp, checked a tablet, voice steady. "Mark's cartel is done. Feds seized everything." Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair neat, civilian jacket relaxed, nodded, voice gruff. "North Shield's assets fund this haven." Sarah's voice was relieved to Emily. "It's really over?" Emily's voice was steady, nodding. "You and Rex made that happen." The Stroller bust, USB drive, journal, recorder, safe house drives, and Mark's testimony had crushed his network, his fortune now healing victims like Sarah. Sarah's voice was choked to Rex. "You gave us a future, boy." Rex's whine was gentle, his black and tan fur brushing Ethan, amber eyes gleaming. A canine hero tied to a legacy inspired by real tales of dogs as saviors. The yard buzzed, volunteers prepping for a community open house, pups romping under Rex's watchful gaze. Sarah's voice was curious to Jack. "Any word on Mark?" Jack's voice was low to Sarah. "He's cooperating, exposing cartel links." Dan's voice was tense. To Emily, "He's atoning?" Emily's voice was sharp to Dan. "Trying. Donated millions here." Sarah's voice was soft to Rex. "You changed him, didn't you?" The tension spiked, a low growl from Rex snapping Sarah's focus. His ears pinned, amber eyes fixed on a stranger near the kennels, a man in a dark cap snapping photos. Sarah's voice was a gasp to Jack. "Who's that?" Jack's voice was sharp, dropping a crate. "Stay back." Rex's snarl was fierce, his black and tan frame charging, weaving through volunteers, a canine protector sensing a threat, inspired by real tales of dogs thwarting danger. The stranger bolted, dropping a notebook, his voice a curse. "Damn it!" Dan's voice was urgent, sprinting. "Stop!" He tackled the man, badge glinting, voice grim. "Who sent you?" Jack's voice was trembling, grabbing the notebook. "It's a hit list. Sarah's name." Sarah's voice was stunned to Emily. "Mark's men?" Rex's bark was thunderous, his amber eyes locked on the stranger, standing guard, a canine hero unmasking a final plot, inspired by real tales of dogs exposing enemies. Emily's voice was resolute to Dan. "This ends it, right?" Dan's voice was steady, cuffing the man. "Feds'll trace this. Last of the cartel." The payback hit with a chuckle. The stranger's cap fell, revealing a tattoo, his voice a curse. "Son of a..." Clara's laugh was bright. "Bad disguise." Emily's voice was tense. To Sarah, "You're safe now." Sarah's voice was sobbing, hugging Rex. "You knew, boy." Jack's voice was choked. To Sarah, "He's your guardian." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Clara's voice was urgent, pulling Sarah aside, holding a sealed letter. "Found this in your mom's old locker, her last wish." Sarah's voice was a gasp, opening it. "Mom." The letter read, "Sarah, Rex is your shield, trained to protect you and Ethan. Build a haven for others. A photo fell, Sarah's mom with Rex as a pup, a guard badge pinned to his collar. Sarah's voice was choked, tears falling. She planned this. Rex's whine was deep, his black and tan frame pressing against Sarah, amber eyes locked, a canine hero fulfilling a mother's dream, inspired by real tales of enduring legacies. Sarah's voice was resolute to Jack. We're honoring her. Jack's voice was choked to Sarah. She'd be proud. Clara's voice was warm to Sarah. Your bright star's light. Emily's voice was soft to Rex. Good boy. You're home. The open house glowed, families flooding the fields, kids signing with Ethan, volunteers sharing Rex's story. Sarah's voice was bright to a group. Rex saved us. He's saving others now. Dan's voice was gruff to Jack. She's a leader. Jack's voice was proud to Dan, like her mom. The desert stretched silent, Bright Star's shadows gone, and Sarah's bond with Rex and Ethan was a spark that rebuilt a community. But could it withstand the cartel's final echo? The Nevada desert glowed under a radiant afternoon sun, its vast expanse framing Hope's Haven, a sanctuary reborn from the ashes of Bright Star Airport's turmoil. Vibrant fields buzzed with life, the air sweet with sagebrush and the joyful barks of rescue dogs darting through wildflowers. The first Hope's Haven Festival pulsed with energy, colorful banners proclaiming "Courage saves all," families filling the grounds with laughter and chatter. Sarah Mitchell, 30, black hair loose in a braid, blue sundress fluttering, stood on a stage, voice clear, holding a ribbon. "Rex, you're our hero!" Rex, a German shepherd, black and tan coat glossy, pranced beside her, amber eyes bright, a service vest gleaming with a gold badge. Haven Guardian. He nudged a shy pup through a gentle course, his canine grace drawing cheers. A hero whose instincts had saved Sarah and Ethan, toppling Mark Reynolds' North Shield empire. Guns, drugs, corrupt cops. Ethan, 8 months, dark hair curling, giggled in a volunteer's arms, signing happily, his world full of light. Sarah's voice was choked, smiling. "You gave us everything, Rex." Jack Sullivan, 35, brown hair tousled, flannel shirt rolled up, clapped from the crowd, voice proud. "That's our Sarah." Clara Evans, 65, silver hair pinned, sweater neat, squeezed his arm, voice warm. "Ethan's a miracle." Agent Emily Harper, 40, blonde hair loose, blazer crisp, stood nearby, voice soft. "Mark's cartel is dust. Feds owe you." Chief Dan Brooks, 50, gray hair neat, jacket casual, nodded, voice gruff. "His fortune built this place." Sarah's voice was bright to the crowd. "Hope's Haven is for every mom, every kid, every dog needing a chance." The festival hummed, booths offering pup treats, kids signing Rex Rocks, dogs romping under Rex's calm gaze. Sarah's voice was warm to a group. "Rex stopped a nightmare. He's starting dreams now." Rex's bark was bold, his black and tan frame bounding through the grass, amber eyes locked on Ethan, a canine mentor thriving, his bond with Sarah, forged through her mother's legacy, unshakable. The stroller bust, USB drive, journal, recorder, safehouse drives, and Mark's testimony had transformed lives, funding a haven for survivors. Clara's voice was choked to Jack. "Her mom's watching." Jack's voice was soft to Clara. "She sent Rex." Mark, serving time, had fully turned, his cooperation dismantling cartels, his wealth now healing victims. Sarah's voice was soft to Rex. "You changed him too." Rex's whine was gentle, his amber eyes gleaming, a canine sentinel guarding a new dawn, inspired by real tales of redemption. The tension spiked, a low growl from Rex snapping Sarah's focus. His ears pinned, Amber eyes fixed on a stranger near the kennels, a man in a dark jacket, slipping through the crowd. Sarah's voice was a gasp to Jack. "Someone's here." Jack's voice was sharp, dropping his coffee. "Stay back." Rex's snarl was fierce, his black and tan frame charging, weaving through festival goers, a canine protector sensing a threat, inspired by real tales of dogs thwarting danger. The stranger bolted, dropping a burner phone, his voice a curse. "Damn it!" Dan's voice was urgent, sprinting. "Stop!" He tackled the man, badge glinting, voice grim. "Who are you?" Jack's voice was trembling, grabbing the phone. "It's a hit list, our haven." Sarah's voice was stunned to Emily. "Cartel's last man?" Rex's bark was thunderous, his amber eyes locked on the stranger, standing guard. A canine hero unmasking a final plot, inspired by real tales of dogs exposing enemies. Emily's voice was resolute to Dan. "He's done, right?" Dan's voice was steady, cuffing the man. "Feds'll wrap this, last of them." The payback hit with a chuckle. The stranger's jacket tore, revealing a tattoo, his voice a curse. "Son of a—" Clara's laugh was bright. "Bad move." Emily's voice was tense to Sarah. "You're safe now." Sarah's voice was sobbing, hugging Rex. "You knew, boy." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Emily's voice was urgent, pulling Sarah aside, holding a sealed envelope. "Found this in your mom's old safe." Her final letter. Sarah's voice was a gasp, opening it. "Mom?" The letter read, "Sarah, Rex is your guardian, trained to protect you and Ethan. Build a haven for the broken." A photo fell, Sarah's mom, Rex as a pup, a guard badge pinned to his collar. Sarah's voice was choked, tears falling. "She chose you, Rex." Rex's whine was deep, his black and tan frame pressing against Sarah, amber eyes locked, a canine hero fulfilling a mother's dream, inspired by real tales of legacies enduring. Sarah's voice was resolute to Jack. "We're honoring her." Jack's voice was choked to Sarah. "You're her heart." Clara's voice was warm to Sarah. "You're Nevada's hope." Emily's voice was soft to Rex. "Good boy, you're home." The message shone clear. Courage and love triumph over darkness, and a woman's bond with her dog can spark a community's rebirth. Sarah's story, rooted in real tales of canine devotion, was a beacon of resilience, trust, and chosen family. The desert glowed under the setting sun, a promise of new beginnings. To everyone watching, Sarah, Ethan, and Rex's journey proves love conquers all, uniting hearts through bravery and trust. Share your story of a loyal pet or a moment of courage in the comments. What's your spark? Subscribe to Pawprints of Hope. Join our community and keep stories like theirs alive, showing heroes with paws or hearts can change the world.